Yo, what's up? This is Rock. I just wanted to make a quick video for SWG Network about Black Panther that I just went to see a couple of hours ago. First and foremost, let me say that, like, visually, one of the best movies I've ever seen. Freaking special effects, CGI, the characters or the actresses and the actors playing the characters, excellent, 100% on point. Some of the best stuff you'll see in a movie theater right now, especially in a superhero movie. But I do have a problem with that movie. I have a very big problem with that movie. And before I tell you the problems, let me tell you some of the good things about it. And let me do spoiler alert. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. So don't say that I told you something that you didn't want to hear about before you watch the movie. All right, so first and foremost, as far as it goes for an Avengers movie or one of those movies about the superheroes from the Avengers universe, I would put it up there with Civil Wars because nothing's better than the Soldier, the Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier is absolutely the best Marvel movie that they've made, and I've seen them all. Winter Soldier is definitely like everything that you would ever want in a superhero movie. Civil War is not as much of everything you want in a superhero movie. I mean, it had everybody. It made you feel good. It gave you all the characters that you always wanted to see on screen at the same time. And it gave you Black Panther. And all in all, it was a great movie, but not as good as Civil War. Civil War is the best one ever. I mean, Avengers Part 1 was pretty good because that was the first time you were seeing that type of stuff on screen, and it's like they knocked everything out of the park. But then now, once you got used to seeing all the superheroes flying around and doing whatever they do, you was waiting for somebody to perfect it, and Civil War's definitely perfected. Now, let's get to Black Panther. I mean, what did I say? The Winter Soldier definitely perfected it. Civil Wars came out after that, and I mean, it was like more of what we know already instead of breaking the mold, and it didn't break the mold. All right, so now Black Panther, great stuff, great stuff. I mean, good acting, good sci-fi, good actresses, good actors, good storyline, pretty much. But the fact of the matter is, I am an African American that lives in the United States of America. And the bad guy of Black Panther was obvious. I mean, I'm not saying I just like imagined this. They pushed it in our face as much as humanly possible that this guy is an African American in America that got pushed out by the people from Africa. I mean, it is what it is. Still a good storyline, but it is what it is. So once the bad guy became powerful in Wakanda, which is, I would say, is pretty much code word for Africa. Once he became powerful out there, of course, the first thing he wanted to do was go around the world and destroy, because African Americans haven't been treated so greatly since we left Africa, Wakanda. So what they were doing was making it seem like the entire world is good peoples, like Europe, Africa, Americans, North Americans, South Americans, and even the people from Antarctica. It's like they all are good people, but the biggest problem in the world is us, African American people, because we're so, I guess, strung out on trying to make America pay. I mean, it's like a Black American. Only thing that we all want is revenge for slavery, and pretty much that's the plot of Black Panther. The plot of Black Panther is one guy finally got his chance to do something to get revenge about slavery that happened in America. So if you're aware, you know that most Black Americans and most people that come from Africa, a lot of times have, it's almost like we feel like there's nothing in common with each other, and we all been told to hate each other. Africans come from Africa and they come to America. First thing they got a problem with is African Americans, and then when we see that they have a problem with us, we're like, oh well, fuck. I mean, forget them Africans because we don't got nothing to do with them. They wish they were born over here too. So that causes conflict, and I think that's what played out. I mean, I don't know what the director was looking for. And I don't know. I don't even know what the director's name was. All I heard was he's a Black guy that was born in America. But I really need to look into that because I don't think that a Black guy that was born in America will. Well, he's not the writer. He's just a director. So forget that point that I was saying. But what I'm saying is the only problem that I have with that movie is still the African American man is the bad guy, and this movie, he had no other reason to be upset with the rest of the world except for the fact that he was an African American man and he had in his people, his livelihood, everything that he knew had something to do with the fact that he was in America. And I mean, the same issues that I would happily say that, I mean, not happily, but I would want to point out and not ever back down from, and say that that's exactly what the problem is. It's like we got pushed over here by the Africans, and now we got treated like hell. And now the Africans have some nerve to say, well, it's kind of like your fault, or you. I mean, it's like no one likes us. I guess that's what the movie was about. No one likes African American dudes. That's what it was. And I guess that's the problem that I have with it because I'm an African American dude, and it's like, come on. I mean, we see in the news every single day. They put any crime that happens that a Black dude do, they put that joint front and center already. We always get the light shined on anything that's bad that goes on in the Black American community. Do we need more of that? Because that's what Black Panther was. It was more of, whites are bad, blacks are bad, but the worst is those African Americans. And it's like, okay, we've seen that already. Can you please come up with a different plot for this movie? I mean, at the end of the movie, another spoiler alert. If you didn't hear me, I said spoiler alert. But at the end of the movie, Black Panther, the king of Wakanda himself, he came around. He was like, you know what? We drove that guy to act the way that he was acting, and his circumstances drove him to act the way he was acting. But at that point, he was dead already. So, did it really help? I mean, hopefully it will help as the time goes by. But we all know, freaking what's the guy with the glove? He's coming along soon, so it'll be another time when our issues are not being met. I'm sure in the comments there'll be somebody talking about, oh, you're still whining, huh? You're still the African American people whining about the problem. Funny thing is, those dudes that voted in Trump, y'all whine more than anybody else. Peace.